Plants do not attract pests randomly. That is one of the most important things a gardener can internalize. Insects, particularly the soft-bodied sucking insects like aphids and mealybugs, are drawn to weakness. They have sensory systems that detect chemical signals released by stressed plants. When a plant is thriving, when its root system is healthy, when its cells are firm, and its internal pressure is right, it produces a class of defensive compounds called volatile organic chemicals: terpenes, phenols, alkaloids. These compounds make the plant unattractive to pests and in many cases actively repel them. But when a plant is under stress, that chemical defense drops. The plant redirects its energy away from defense and towards survival. And in that window of vulnerability, the insects find it. What causes this stress? Several things, and they are all common. Overwatering is one of the biggest. When roots sit in waterlogged soil, they begin to suffocate. Roots need oxygen, and without it, the plant cannot absorb nutrients properly, even when those nutrients are sitting right there in the soil. The result is soft, pale new growth and a plant that droops despite wet soil. That soft tissue is exactly what aphids and mealybugs are drawn to because it is easier to pierce and feed from. Underwatering does the opposite but lands in the same place. Cells lose turgor pressure, the leaf surface weakens, and spider mites move in fast. They are built for dry, hot, low humidity conditions and will colonize a drought-stressed plant faster than almost any other pest in the garden. Excess nitrogen fertilizer is one gardeners rarely suspect. More feeding should mean a stronger plant, but too much nitrogen pushes excessive, soft, fast green growth, and that tender new growth is prime aphid territory. The cells are easy to pierce, and the sap is richest in the amino acids aphids are after. Poor air circulation rounds it out. Stagnant, humid air around foliage is exactly the environment mites and fungal problems thrive in. A plant with good airflow around it is significantly harder to colonize. So before you spray anything, read what the plant is telling you. Fix the underlying stress and the pests have far less reason to return. The spray handles what is already there. The environment change handles whether it comes back. Every insect has an outer covering called the cuticle. Think of it less like skin and more like armor. The outermost layer is a thin, waxy coating that does two critical things. It locks moisture inside the insect's body and blocks foreign substances from getting in. Without it, the insect dries out and dies within minutes. Aphids, mealybugs, whiteflies, spider mites, and young caterpillars all have one thing in common. Their cuticle is thin. That is what makes them vulnerable to soap in a way that a beetle or a grasshopper simply is not. Soap belongs to a class of chemicals called surfactants. Each soap molecule has one end that is attracted to water and another end that is attracted to fat. When it contacts the insect's waxy cuticle, the fat-loving end embeds into that wax layer and begins dissolving it. The moment the cuticle breaks down, three things happen at once. The insect starts losing water faster than it can survive. The breathing pores along its body, called spiracles, get flooded and respiration stops. And the surface cell membranes, which are also fat-based, begin to collapse. Dehydration, suffocation, and membrane failure simultaneously. That is why the action is so fast. There is no toxin slowly working through a system. The destruction is immediate on contact. Eggs and young caterpillars follow the same logic. Thinner protection means faster penetration. The younger the infestation, the more completely this solution handles it. Pause here for a second and drop a comment below. Tell us which pest is destroying your plants right now. Aphids, mealybugs, mites, caterpillars, whiteflies, name it. We read every single one and your answer might shape the next video we make. Check the pest control playlist on this channel before you finish watching. There are solutions there for problems you have not even seen yet in your garden, and you will want them before you need them. Now let us talk about the solution itself. Not every soap works the same way, and this is where a lot of homemade sprays go wrong. Laundry detergent contains optical brighteners, enzymes, and fragrance compounds that are phytotoxic, meaning they damage plant tissue. Use those repeatedly and you end up burning the very plants you are trying to save. The soap you want is pure Castile soap or a plain fragrance-free dish soap with no added degreaser. These contain potassium salts of fatty acids, which are the same active compounds found in commercial insecticidal soap products. Gentle on the plant, lethal to the insect. The second ingredient is room temperature water. Not cold, not hot, Cold reduces the soap's ability to dissolve properly. Hot intensifies its effect on leaf tissue to the point of causing burn. The third component is optional but worth adding. Cold-pressed neem oil contains azadirachtin, a compound that mimics insect hormones and shuts down the molting cycle. Soap kills what it touches today. Neem oil collapses the population over the following week by preventing survivors from reproducing. Together, they work across 2 time horizons at once. Here is the recipe. You need a clean spray bottle. It must be clean. Any residue from a previous product, whether a bleach cleaner, a chemical fertilizer, a scented household spray, can interfere with the solution or cause plant damage. Wash the bottle with warm water and let it dry completely. Pour in 500 milliliters of room temperature water. This is your base. Add 1 teaspoon of pure Castile soap or plain fragrance-free dish soap. This brings your soap concentration to approximately 1%, which is the lower end of the effective range for insecticidal soap. It is effective and gentle. If you are dealing with a severe infestation, you can go up to 2 teaspoons per 500 milliliters, but do not exceed that. Concentrations above 2% begin to risk phytotoxicity, especially on plants already under stress. If you are including neem oil, add 1 teaspoon of cold-pressed neem oil. Neem oil does not dissolve in water on its own. It is a fat, and it needs an emulsifier to mix properly. The soap in your solution acts as that emulsifier. Add the neem oil after the soap, not before. Then close the bottle and shake gently but thoroughly until the mixture is uniform. Neem oil has a distinct earthy, slightly sulfurous smell. That is normal and correct. It is the sign that the azadirachtin content is intact. If you are not including neem oil, stir slowly rather than shaking to minimize foam. Excess foam can clog the spray nozzle and reduces the efficiency of your coverage. The solution should be uniform and lightly sudsy. If there are soap clumps that have not dissolved, stir longer before transferring to the spray bottle. The solution is now ready. Never spray in full midday sun. Heat intensifies the soap's effect on leaf tissue and increases the risk of scorch. Early morning or late afternoon is the window you want, and overcast days give you more flexibility. Start at the top of the plant and work downward so dripping solution falls onto areas not yet covered. Then flip your attention to the undersides of leaves because that is where every pest on this list actually lives. Aphids, mealybugs, whiteflies, spider mites, all of them shelter on the lower leaf surface, away from sun and rain and the gardener's eye. Spraying only the top of a leaf and calling it done is like cleaning half a room and locking the door. Saturate the undersides completely, then move to the stem joints and nodes where mealybugs cluster and the soft new growth at branch tips where aphids concentrate. Those 2 spots are where infestations hide and where a light pass is never enough. Leave the solution on the plant for 20 to 30 minutes, then rinse with clean water. The rinse removes dead insects and, more importantly, clears the soap film from the leaf surface before it begins blocking the stomata and interfering with the plant's ability to breathe. Rinse thoroughly, and within an hour the plant will already look noticeably cleaner. Now let us talk about what you will see after application. The results are visible almost immediately. Within the first 2 minutes, aphids stop moving, mealybugs detach from stems, mites fall, and whiteflies drop. Small caterpillars curl and fall on contact. Larger ones may need a second pass. This is not a slow process. You watch it happen. By 24 hours, the sticky honeydew residue left by feeding insects begins to clear. Honeydew is the sugary waste aphids and whiteflies excrete while processing plant sap, and it is also what black sooty mold feeds on. As the insects die, the plant starts cleaning itself. By 3 to 4 days, new growth emerging after the application will be normal and undistorted. Already damaged leaves will not recover their shape, but clean new growth is the clearest sign the plant is coming back. For a light infestation, 2 applications 7 days apart is enough. The first kills the active insects. The second catches anything that hatched from eggs in the interval, because soap has no residual effect once it dries. This is exactly where neem oil earns its place. The azadirachtin continues disrupting newly hatched insects for several days after application, closing the gap that soap alone leaves open. For a moderate to severe infestation, apply every 3 days for 2 weeks. For prevention, once a month keeps populations from ever establishing in the first place. Now let us address the extreme cases, because some plants come to you already in crisis and some infestations have had weeks or months to establish before you notice them. Severe mealybug infestations often involve insects that have burrowed into the crown of the plant, into the soil surface near the base of the stem, or into tight clusters inside folded leaves where spray penetration is difficult. For these, before you spray, take a cotton swab or a small brush, dip directly in undiluted isopropyl alcohol at 70% concentration and manually apply it to the mealybug colonies. The alcohol dissolves their waxy coating immediately and kills on contact. Follow this with your soap and neem spray over the whole plant. The manual alcohol application handles the heavily embedded colonies. The spray handles the mobile individuals and eggs on the leaf surfaces. For scale insects, which have a harder shell than mealybugs and are among the most resistant to soap sprays, add a small amount of horticultural oil to your spray rather than or in addition to the neem oil. Horticultural oils suffocate scale insects by sealing the breathing openings under their protective shell in a way that soap alone cannot consistently achieve. Scale insects are the one pest on this list where the soap spray is a useful tool, but not a complete solution on its own. Caterpillar infestations that have progressed to larger, more mature larvae are also a situation where the soap spray is helpful but not a complete answer. At the larval stage, where caterpillars are larger than about a centimetre, their cuticle is thick enough that soap solution needs to be applied in very high direct volume to be lethal. For large caterpillar infestations, manually removing the larvae and dropping them into soapy water is the most efficient immediate solution. The soap spray then handles the smaller, newly hatching larvae and helps deter egg-laying moths and butterflies from the plant's surface. There is also the question of what you do about the plants around the one you are treating. Pests do not respect garden boundaries. An aphid colony on one plant is sending out winged reproductive forms that are already landing on your neighbouring plants. When you treat one plant, treat the immediate area. Spray the soil surface around the base of the treated plant as well, because some mite species overwinter in the top layer of soil and can reinfest from below. Isolate treated container plants if possible, for at least a week. Moving a treated plant away from its neighbours during the kill period prevents pests fleeing the spray from crossing to an untreated plant, which happens more than gardeners expect. Insects do move when disturbed, and a spray application disturbs them significantly. Before you store the spray bottle, label it clearly with the contents and the date you made it. The soap and neem oil solution is best used within 1 week. Neem oil begins to oxidize and degrade its active compounds relatively quickly once mixed, and the solution's effectiveness decreases. Make fresh batches rather than storing large quantities. This is also the reason to make only what you need for a given application session. One thing that is worth addressing directly is the question of whether this spray harms beneficial insects. Bees, ladybugs, lacewings, parasitic wasps. The answer is that soap-based insecticides are non-selective contact killers. They do not discriminate based on species. A beneficial insect that is directly sprayed will be killed by the same cuticle disruption mechanism as a harmful one. This is why the application timing matters as a protection for beneficials, not just as a protection for plants. Bees are most active during the warmest midday hours. Early morning and late afternoon applications minimize the risk of contacting foraging bees. Spray when you see no beneficial insect activity on the plant. Avoid spraying open flowers because that is where pollinators concentrate their contact with the plant. Once the spray has dried and been rinsed, there is no residual danger to beneficial insects. The solution only kills what it directly contacts while wet. A ladybug arriving on the plant an hour after you have rinsed will be completely unaffected. There is a phrase that gets repeated in gardening spaces. Feed the plant, not the pest. It is a good way to hold the approach in your mind. This spray is a fast, effective and safe tool for eliminating an active infestation. But the plant's long-term resistance to future infestation comes from health. Proper watering, well-aerated soil with good organic matter content, appropriate fertilization without excess nitrogen, adequate light and air circulation. These conditions produce the chemical defense that makes a plant genuinely resistant, not just treated. Think of this spray as what you reach for when the defense has already been breached. Your job after using it is to restore the conditions that make the breach less likely to happen again. 2 ingredients, the right soap and the right water, with an optional third that significantly extends your protection window. A clean bottle. Early morning timing. Thorough coverage, including leaf undersides, stems, and new growth. A rinse after 30 minutes. A repeat schedule based on how severe the problem was. That is the complete system. The plants sitting in your garden or on your windowsill right now, if they are showing any of the signs you have been seeing in your mind throughout this video, the curling, the stickiness, the distorted growth, they can come back from this. Plants are resilient in ways that genuinely surprise you. A plant that looked half destroyed in January can be full and thriving by March if you remove what was draining it and give it the conditions it needs. Start today. Make the solution. Walk out to your plants with that spray bottle and look carefully at the undersides of leaves, at the nodes on the stems, at the newest growth at the tips. Spray what you find. Rinse. Come back in 3 days and check again. The difference between a gardener who keeps losing plants to pests and one who does not is almost never about the products they use. It is about whether they learn to read what the plant is telling them before the infestation reaches the point of no return. You now have that knowledge. If this helped, like the video, it tells us to keep making content like this. Share it with one gardener who needs it. Drop a comment below telling us which pest is giving you the most trouble right now. And if pests are a recurring problem in your garden, check the pest playlist on this channel. Everything you need is already there. See you in the next one.